Hey guys, so yeah, as you can see here, we got a little snow here on the ground. I've probably got like 4 or 5 inches. Um, Anyways, me and my crew here. I got the whole crew today with me. We're heading down to the shop. This is Saturday morning. Um, yeah, my wife and my daughter are gone, and my son he's out working too. So I thought, well, I don't want to leave the poor little wiener dog at home. I'll take the wiener dog too with me. Um, so we got the whole bunch with us. And the poor little wiener dog, he gets cold pretty easy, so we got a coat on him. Anyway, yeah, we're heading down to the shop there to work on this ISX cummins today. I didn't get any much done yesterday, which is fine because I had some really good people come visit me from Monterey, California. A couple of YouTubers, a couple of viewers, I should say. They been watching my videos for a while, and he bought a Texas diagnostic unit from me. He bought the truck software and the ag software, off-highway software from me. And I just sat there and talked to him and his girlfriend for hours yesterday, and it was really enjoyable. They were really good people. So I think that they got a little bit of a shock when they woke up Saturday morning because we stayed late enough at the shop Friday night that they decided to go ahead and drive back up north to Klamath. They were going to go to Reno too, and he was going to take his girlfriend to Reno, but I think he got a little bit of he probably woke up Saturday morning and goes, damn, I should have kept going south. But no, it was very, very good to talk to them. Let's put it this way: they're really good people, but they're down there in a bad place. I don't know how people can live in Southern California anymore. I don't know how they do it, but they're good people if they can put up with that. But anyway, yeah, I sold them a unit, and he's going to let me know. Him and his brother have they kind of like me. They work on just about everything. They work on dozers and ag tractors. I guess a whole lot of John Deere stuff, and he can't wait to start using it. And especially down there, I guess there's a whole lot of competition down there from what he was telling me. And he, I kind of think it'll give him a little bit of an edge. He said there's a lot of competition, but there's guys down there doing cutthroat that are charging $40 an hour, and I don't know how you could ever survive. You're not ever going to have a service truck and everything else for $40 an hour. There's just no way. I don't know how you could do it unless you were doing things illegally and not filing for a business license and paying your liability insurance and doing all the things that a normal business should do. There's just no way in hell you could do that. I mean, if you hired some employee, you damn near, if you had a really good guy, you damn near have to pay him that. So yeah, I don't know. There's something. They're probably driving around, and I've seen some of that kind of stuff go on here, where you'll see some guy drive around in his Chevy pickup, and he's got a Craftsman toolbox in the back, and he's going to fix everything that you charge too much, and he's going to go fix everything for $40-50 an hour, and then you'll get the jobs anyway after he screws everything up and destroys everything because he beat it to death with a hammer trying to fix it. But anyway, I told him, I said, you get this laptop, go down there, you'll do just fine. You can make a lot of money in Southern California just doing forced regens on stuff. Just on the emissions crap, you can make a killing on that stuff, working on it, because to be honest with you, people, even up here, I'm constantly taking my Texas diagnostic unit and I'm constantly doing forced regens on stuff because they can't ever, you tell them and tell them and tell them, and they can't ever get the picture is to not let them idle. But these guys, these big farms, these big ranches will they just kind of let them run wild. They don't really manage them, it seems like sometimes. So, you tell the owner, and he doesn't really convey that message to the management. And next thing you know, they're just doing the same thing. they'll go to lunch for half an hour or 45 minutes, and they just let the tractor sit there and idle while they're off at lunch. You'll drive right by it, and it's sitting there idling with the doors shut, and because it'll be hot in the summertime, and they don't want the cab hot when they get back. So then it plugs up the DPF filter. So then pretty soon you got to go over there and do a forced regen, because the John Deere's, I know for certain, will warn you that your filter's getting plugged up. But they just kind of, they'll ignore it. They'll keep pushing the button and ignoring it, and pretty soon it's not going to let them do hardly anything. It's got it on reduced power, or it wouldn't hardly do anything, and you got to go do it a forced regen with the laptop. And then, so which is, I told the owner the other day, one of the tractors said, I've warned you several times, but it's costing you a lot of money, because I charge them a flat fee for it. I usually charge them a couple $100 every time I do it, because I don't want to sit there for 4 hours, which would, at $100 an hour, would cost him $400. So charge him a flat fee to start it and initiate it, and I monitor it for a while to make sure everything's okay. Then I lock the doors up, and when it idles down, I tell them to call me, and then I go back and shut it off. If they have somebody there that can watch it and monitor it the whole time, which is better, I don't have the time to sit there and watch it for 4 hours. So anyways, I told this guy here, you can make a lot of money doing that. If these guys are knuckleheads and they don't want to listen, charge them, But anyways, it was a very enjoyable experience. Really good people. I've met a lot of good people off YouTube. I mean, I had the Joe Bachman come clear down from British Columbia, and met people, Tim Stanford in New Mexico. Talked to that guy all the time. Very, very good guy. Real knowledgeable mechanic. Give the shirt off his back for you. I mean, so yeah, very, very pleased. So hope you guys enjoy this video about the ISX Cummins. We're getting really close here to getting this thing wrapped up. Hopefully the next video after this one will be firing it up.
What do you think, little buddy? Oscar, what do you think, little buddy? What do you think, little buddy? You can go sit. Why don't you go sit over here with the other puppy dogs? Come here, buddy. Why don't you go sit with all the puppy dogs over here, bud? They're all sitting over here by the heaters. You cold? Well, there's heaters over here, buddy. Here, I'll put you over here and I'll show you how warm it is. Nice it is over here. Ah, yeah. Everybody else has got it all figured out. Why don't you go sit over here with all these guys here and just kick back with them and relax. Nice and warm over here, Oscar. Daisy will take care of you. Daisy will take care of you. Yes, she will. Daisy will take care of you. I think I need another dog or two, don't I? Huh, I think I need another dog or two. I need another dog or two, sweetheart. Not bud. Okay, you guys just hang out. We'll see what Oscar does if he decides to follow along. This is where the service truck, all the snow on it thaws up, makes a huge mess in the shop. And then you get to work in the water anyway. See if I can get a broom here and I'll pull up here in this low spot in the floor and kind of sweep it out the door. Okay, oh, Oscar made it back over here, didn't he? You made it back over here, buddy? Huh? Holy shit, that is some tough shit there. Get that open. Yeah, meeting them folks yesterday from Monterey, California gives me a little hope that there's still at least some decent people still left in California, especially down there. There's still quite a few good people up here, Siskiyou County. I told this guy, I said, just look up Jefferson State. Look up Jefferson State and it'll explain a whole lot about this area. And it will absolutely open your eyes to what this area is all about. If you guys have ever heard that country song by Hank Williams Jr., Country Boy Can't Survive, and he says we're from North California and we're from south of Alabama, well, he's talking about this area, is what he's talking about. We're kind of the outlaws of this part of the state. We don't follow a lot of the precedents and the bullshit that goes on down there in Sacramento. We don't really care for Sacramento and the rest of them down there, but people like I'll just tell you his name, Derek. They're welcome up here anytime. Good people. I might actually call him. He seems to be very knowledgeable and likes to work and wants to come up and why is that so? It just doesn't seem right, does it? There it goes. But offered to come up and help in the summertime. I might take him up on it. Be a part of, I don't know if he wants to be a part of my crazy life, because it just ain't nothing but go 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 all the time. Oscar, please don't shit in here. I took you outside twice. Don't be looking around for a place to shit. I'm watching you. You're sniffing the ground. That is to sniff the ground, take a shit sniff to me. Hey, don't shit in here. And spank your little butt. You don't come to the shop very much, so there's some rules, buddy. If you shit in the shop, you get your ass whipped. Okay, links are set. Make sure they're in there seated the way they're supposed to be. Okay, I need some clean motor oil, and I had a squirt bottle. I don't know what I did with it. Oh yeah, that's right, I had a clean motor oil in this can here. Just lube our O-rings up. Oscar. 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 Where are you? And make sure he's not into something he's not supposed to be into, because if something happens to Oscar and he gets into something and gets sick, I'll never hear the end of that. Hey, bud. Hey. Go play with trouble over there by the heater or something. Wash these hold downs off. Oh, let's clean these up. The injectors in it. Alright, I'll go over to the solvent tank and get these washed up. I'll be back. Okay, we're going to torque our injectors in there now. They will be set at 59 foot-pounds. Oscar, don't lift your leg up and piss on that tire in here. He doesn't come with me and doesn't know the rules yet. He will learn. Okay, buddy, we're going to set our injectors in the hole now. Let's make sure our holes are... Let's go get our flashlight. Let's set these back down. Let's make sure our holes are clear before we stick those down in there. That the machine shop didn't leave something in the hole. I have seen that happen. Leave, I don't know, metal shaving or something that got down in the hole that the injector didn't seat up when you put it in there. There's so many things when you're doing this occupation, especially on engine work or transmission work, that can bite you in the ass. Okay, Oscar, you can't sit there, bud. You're too little. I'll step on you and break your back. Oscar, come on, bud. I don't know why you don't go over there and sit with your buddies over there at the fire. That's where I'd be if I were you. It's a lot more comfortable over there. Sure I don't step on him. There we go. Make sure those links sit the way they're supposed to sit. Click in there right. Yeah, Tim and Bus Jockey, don't know what your real name is, but I am in the process. Pretty soon here, I'm gonna buy a Pico scope. I've been looking at and watching a lot of Scanner Danner videos. I've actually put some of his stuff to use in my daily troubleshooting. The other day it was a pretty simple way of doing it. I actually really never thought about it the way he did it before, but I used his method on a 5-volt reference the other day on an ICP sensor on a power stroke that was showing a P1280 code, low ICP voltage, and it was really simple. I just took my scanner, set it up underneath. My cord was long enough where I could plug it in the data link in the cab, and I just set it out underneath the hood, and I'd already checked my ground, continuity to ground, and I had a ground, and I jumpered the 5-volt reference to the 5-volt signal return, and on the scanner it went from 0 volts to 5 volts. So then that told me the wire from the PCM to the ICP sensor on the 5-volt reference signal return was fine. And so if you had 5-volt reference at the sensor, you had 5-volt signal return, and you had a ground, then you know for certain that there's nothing wrong with the computer. You know the integrities of the wiring from the computer to the ICP sensor was fine, and you need an ICP sensor. So yeah, we put an ICP sensor in it, and it worked just fine. So it was a really, because I used to take, the way I used to do it, I used to take I used to take that completely off the PCM and check continuity on the signal return wire. And then I started watching his videos, and I said, man, that makes way more sense to do it that way than the way that I'm doing it. He's really, really good at that stuff. See if we can get him, at least get him finger tight. We'll torque him down. Kind of makes me like Derek there. He checked out diesel laptops too, and I thought it was pretty cool of him. He goes, no, I'd rather buy it from you and give you the money than give them big companies the money. And I thought that was pretty cool of him, you know. Not many guys will do that. And the problem with them guys like that, to be honest with you, I try to help out as much as I can. Sometimes I get too busy to... I've got another guy that's my dealer, that's all he does is diagnostic tool work and stuff that, and he's a mechanic himself too, but he's more into selling them diagnostic tools and stuff like that. But anyway, if I can't figure out what's wrong with your tool and you're having a problem with it, I usually get him to do it. And if he can't do it, then Texas fixes it. So anyway we do it, we get it handled. But those big outfits, they're computer salesmen. That's all they are. They're not going to be able to tell you if there's, you know, if your tool isn't communicating. They're not going to be able to tell you whether your CAN bus is working or not on your tractor or your truck. Okay. I've had a lot of people call me about the Texas unit, and they went with diesel laptops instead, which is, you know, it is what it is. I hope they get taken care of well. Yeah, now we'll see if we got compression. I need to get away from that injector link. Nice and warm in here, isn't it, Oscar Mayer? I call him Oscar Mayer Wiener. Oscar, what are you doing, buddy? Oscar, what are you doing? What are you doing? You crazy little dog? Well, that's the door of the pickup. You can go climb in there and sit in a nice, comfy seat if you want. Valve bridges. Oscar, you just checking everything out or what? Huh? You just checking everything out? Okay, now we gotta put these little dicky-doos on the, when they go on the outboard side. You go like that, and then goes on there like so. This is where your Jake will operate your exhaust valve bridge. Shit, that's not good. I didn't go somewhere else. I was gonna say, Dad, go down the oil pan. The oil pan's off of it though. Kind of one thing nice about overhead cams, they can't really go too far. Work's the only thing they can really do. They really can't go anywhere. There's not a push rod hole to go through, so there's really nowhere for them to go. I dropped one time. I dropped something. I can't remember, a bolt or something on an E model cat one time. Was it an E model? I can't remember. It was a no, it wasn't an E model because it had push rods. Must have been a B or something. I think it was a B years ago. I remember I didn't hear it hit the pan, you know, but the pan was full of oil. I remember doing that. I remember having to pull the pan off to find it, and it was in the pan. But I had to find it. You know, I couldn't sleep at night thinking that sumbitch was going to rattle around in the engine to destroy it. Okay, let me clean rocker shafts up. We'll get them bolted on now. Let's see what the torque is on the rocker hold downs. Wakey computer. Need to change my sleep settings. I had them set at one time. I don't know why. Where are they? I think they were actually up here. It's all fuel system. Okay, I got rockers set on there for the injectors. I let my buddy have his torque wrench back. I should have kept it, I guess. Well, we got to do 60 degrees after 22 foot-pounds on these. On these rockers, injector rockers, rotate it to A on the flywheel where the A mark's lined up. And then one of these will be seated. That means basically the lobes will be kind of on the flat spot on the cam. Back all your adjusters off. But the way, then you torque them center out 22 foot-pounds, and the final set to 60 degrees, which is one flat. So we'll mark. Here's a flat right here. Make a mark there. We'll make a mark there. We'll line. Actually, what am I doing? Kind of reference this flat with that flat, but go to that flat right there is what you'll do. There's the flat right there. Yeah, I need to get one of those torque wrenches. Got to get a little money though. big old dog here on the end of the marker there. This torque angle method ain't the precise method anyway. I mean, it's a joke, I think. Alright, I had a breaker bar with a 15mm on it, and I just stepped on the cord for the light and unplugged that. Maybe let's reroute it, or that doesn't happen again, maybe. I had a customer that he brought this backhoe in for just kind of wintertime fill-in work. He's a good guy, and he said, "Oh, no, I'm just seeing how he's doing." And nope. He said, "No, I'm in no hurry for it. He said, we're gonna sell it. I just want it all fixed up before we sell it." He said, "Just this kind of wintertime work. So when you get to it, you get to it." Okay, so we're gonna line that mark up with that mark. Pretty simple. And two flats would be 120 degrees. Yeah, this torque angle method is, I think it's very inaccurate to me, I think, but of course I have an opinion and it may not quite be right, but everybody is entitled to their opinions. I like the old days where they gave you foot-pounds and you set it at the foot-pounds and you were done. There was no guessing. Oh, shoot. Okay. Let's lay this somewhere other than there. And we'll rotate around to the A mark again. Shine my light on there. Hard to read it. Dirt falling out of the fan hub everywhere onto the dampener where you can't read it. I'm almost back to C again, so we're getting pretty close. Good compression there with all them valves closed. Insert pin. See where we're at up here, just to make sure. Okay. We're close. Alright, we're back around to the A mark. Oscar, what are you chewing on? You're not eating things. No, that is not what we're gonna be doing, guys. Like babysitting. Can't wait till she gets home. She can watch her wiener dog. That's all I need him doing is lawn. Oscar, Oscar, go over there and play with Trouble and wrestle and do those sort of things. Okay. Now that we've went clear around again, should be able to bolt this rocker down. Why is it not really wanting to seem like it's set in there the way it should? There it goes. Okay. Should pretty well set in there once you got them all backed off and in the right position on the crank. "22 foot-pounds. Yeah, these guys here, they got a big job going on, I guess, at Stanford University right now, doing a bunch of underground utilities for them. They probably do okay for themselves. Just fine. More power to them. Hope they do. Alright. Now we'll do our little marks on there and go 60 degrees. And then we'll put the valve rockers on. So here is one. We'll make a mark right there. We'll be pretty close. Oh, Oscar, he likes to make noise when he wrestles around. Yeah, well, you'll get to hear that on and off all day long. It's kind of funny when you get used to it. It's like, he really likes to talk. I give him a hard time, yeah, call him you damn little wiener. Yeah, it sure was neat talking to them good people. You don't see that very often anymore, to be honest. It's kind of a rare thing to meet good people like that these days. Not trying to be a negative guy, but it's just the reality of the situation. Most people these days are pretty shitty. They really are. I mean, there's not very many of us guys like this left around. And good viewers like you, and you know, and it's just, you don't meet somebody that you can sit there and talk to for hours and tell stories and with each other and get along like that. It's, hey, knock it off, quit it. It's all fun and games, so somebody gets in a dog fight. Pretty hard to mark a flat on a 12-point bolt. Oh shoot, I skipped one, dumbass. Oh well. It's not the end of the world. Okay, one more. Okay. Clean up the valve rockers now. Well guys, we're sitting here eating us some lunch. What a package of beef jerky. Feeding the puppy dogs. That's a big piece. That's for a big guy. Okay. We're running out of the good pieces here, guys. That's for big girl. That there looks like a perfect piece for a little guy. There you go, Trouble Buddy. You're the medium size. Now we're all just down to little pieces, so you just get whatever, okay? Here you go, Oscar. Here's a bunch of little pieces for you. Here, I'll give you another one. We'll double up on you there, buddy. Alright, Duke. We'll try to be as fair as we can. We'll give everybody their fair share. There, Daisy. Clean that up. Good girl, honey. Alright, is everybody happy? Here, Oscar, there's a little bit left in there. Clean that up. Well, guys, I got the rockers on and everything, and I had a Freightliner sitting outside that somebody, they had gotten diesel spec to do a delete on it, and they didn't program it right, because I checked everything out. It's got two jakes on it. It's got one under the valve cover, and it's got a flapper like a pack brake on it, and that one's not coming on, the pack brake part of it, or the exhaust brake, I would say. And Daisy, what are you doing? I'm trying to get every molecule that we possibly could have dropped on the floor. Anyway, so it's one of those things. I took my Texas unit and put it on there, and the one under the valve cover was coming on. You could hear it, and I turned it off and then revved it up, not off on it again, and it didn't, it didn't rumble or pop or anything. So the second time around, I looked at the pulse width modulated signal. There's two variants there. There's a PWM1 and a PWM2, or a PWM for Jake 1 and PWM for Jake 2. Well, Jake 2 is the flapper valve, and you could rev it up and let off, and PWM1 was going to 95%. PWM, for the guys that don't know, is pulse width modulated signal from the controller, the engine controller. The input's going to be the switch on the dash telling the controller that it's that's going to be the input, is the switch. The output from the controller is going to be to turn the coil on that valve to shut the flapper on it. Well, anyway, PWM2, which runs that flapper on the exhaust brake, did nothing, stayed at 0% the entire time. So basically I turned the switch off, or actually I turned it on, key on, engine off, and went out and I had power. I unplugged the 2-pin plug on the coil solenoid valve that ported air to that, and I had power on both sides, which tells me it's a ground switched coil. So what you plug that back in, then you'll have power on one wire and you'll have nothing, but you won't have ground. That's a ground switch circuit. That's one way to tell a ground switch circuit, is if you unplug it and you got power on both pins unplugged, that's kind of tells you right there that's ground switched. So so plug it back in and back probe it, and then you'll be able to tell, because you'll have voltage on one and you'll have nothing on the other one. And the one that you don't have any voltage on, that's going to be your ground. That'll go straight to the controller. So then I just took my power probe and back probed it and grounded it, and it kicked it right on. And then but I knew it was, when I didn't see the pulse width modulated signal on my scan tool, I know that it's not commanding it on. So I told him, you're gonna have them do it again and make it right. So anyways, I went to run the overhead on the ISX, and I left my dial type torque wrench in Klamath, and my son is at home, so he's bringing it down to me, which means we're not dead in the water. We can start buzzing mains off anyway and rolling them in there and get the pan back on it. Yeah, people are probably saying, oh, it's taking you forever to rebuild this engine. That's not the only thing I'm working on. You know, I'm trying to take care of multiple things. My buddy, I was complaining about it the other day to my buddy Pete, because he does the same thing that I do and a lot of you other guys are doing, and you get so many projects and you're bouncing from one to the other and bouncing from one to the other, and it seems like you never can get projects like this completed. But anyways, I already verified that we're on number 1, and if you don't really know, because when you put a head on and everything's going to change. So when they shave that head off, which means your push rods are going to be sticking out, or not your push rods, what am I thinking? But everything's going to change there, because it changes all these dimensions. Usually if it's a push rod engine, the push rods will be sticking up further, which puts more tension on your valves. But if they took that dimension off and shave that further down, then that changes this relationship between the rocker shaft and where everything sits here too as well. If the valve's sticking up further, you know, because they shave more off the head, it changes everything. As you'll notice, I'm on number 1 and I have no valve lash. And if you don't know how to see if you're on number 1, you can just take a flashlight and look at the long rockers on these ISXs is your intakes, and the short rockers are your exhaust valves. You'll notice it goes over your exhaust valve bridge, and then this short rocker here, that's hitting your that little round nub that I put on the end there. That's hitting there. That's your Jake setting, and these are your injectors. So anyway, one way to tell, though, if you don't know where you're at and you go to A and you're not really certain, because all this stuff's changed on you now, just look at the lobes on your cam. I mean, you'll look at, let me go get my flashlight. I'll just kind of show you what I'm talking about. When you're on number 1 and you're on the right valve setting, those valves are supposed to be closed, which means you'll be on the flat spots of the cam, and that's where you'll have valve lash. And usually on these Cummins, when you're on number 1, the other companion cylinder, the intake valve will be open. So, I don't know if we can see that with this. Oh, the battery's low on this. Let me go change batteries. Trying to get the flashlight, maybe. Camera down in there where maybe you can see. But anyways, you'll be on the flat lobes of the cam on both valves. Okay? And if you look back in here, you'll see that intake lobe is right there at the top. And this intake valve is open. That means you're on number 1 top. Well, you're not on top dead center. These Cummins aren't adjusted like that. But you're on valve set number 1 for it to ready to be adjusted. I don't know. Cummins doesn't go in overlap like Cat and a lot of other guys do. Valve overlap. They do things a little different. When I was a younger mechanic, it used to confuse the shit out of me, but it doesn't anymore after I've done it for years. I climb under here and rip the main off. I can get my light somewhere here, maybe where somebody can see something here. I know. It sucks, it's dark. I'm trying. Alright, let's see what's in here. Oh, what are we doing? Going the wrong way. Front one, we're gonna have to drop the oil pump down, get the front main off. No problem. just kept going till it came out. Long-winded son of a guns, aren't they? Yeah, every time I do anything with the main, I remember the 4960 motor I did that the C-pole plugged up on the water pump and flooded the crankshaft and alright, they're marked front. You can't really screw this up. And the one with the oil feed hole is going to go in the top, because that's where your oil feed hole is, up there. You'll see that your locking tab, your bearing tang, is on the exhaust side of the engine. So push it that way. Sometimes this works out just fine. Most of the time, the way I'm doing it does. Just grab a screwdriver and I just take the sharp edge of the screwdriver and just grab it and peel it out of there. I've used the crankshaft to roll them out before, then they still wouldn't come out. And you know, I can push them and get them started and dig on them pretty deep. Just try not to stick this through the oil hole and scratch the crank. That's what you got to be careful of. And then when you got it off, really look at your crankshaft and make sure everything looks good. And this crank looks really good. Let's see what kind of wear we got on these bearings. Let's go over here on this bench here in the light here. Maybe there's a little more light right here where a guy can see what's going on. Maybe not, but okay guys, so here's those bearings. Let me see here. There we go. See if you can see the wear on that bearing. Pretty worn out. Usually the bottom's always way more worn than the top is. Okay. So let's see here. Already did one. One's a 5.5 and one's a 5.6. Okay, and that says lower, upper. So we want one lower and one upper. All your uppers. Give me a lower. Yes. Kind of like the way they packaged them. Actually, they kept these mains separate to where they wouldn't rub on each other. And I've had some kits I bought in the past. I've gotten some other OEM included manufacturers that were damaged when I got here, and I sent them back. I said, I'm not putting them things in there. Well guys, we're going to put these mains in it, get them torqued, and then we're going to run the overhead. Then I got to go over to the store and get a clean 5-gallon bucket of oil, and I'll take the fuel line off right here. I think I can do that anyway. I've done it before, but I think we'll suck right out of a bucket and we'll get it started. That way we're not sucking that nasty fuel back through there. I think will be the right way to do that anyhow. I have to make more trips underneath the truck, but I go roll the top in first. That way I don't have to set the bearing cap down on the dirty shop floor. I can carry it over there and stick it on and not contaminate the bearing. And then let's see here. Just kind of get her started up in there. And trust me, I've had some in the years that I've been doing this that were not this easy. Can't see where the lock goes. Oh shoot. You know what I did? Had my head up my ass. Rolled it in there backwards. Alright, well. Well, we fixed that real quick, didn't we? Popped the old head out of the butthole. Hard to see where you're going when you got your head up your ass. Alright, there's front. I was looking at the 3/4 torque angle wrench too. Man, those are $400 for those. They are not cheap. Okay. Alright. Alright. I gotta fire the compressor up. Well guys, I'm just gonna go down the line here and then I'll have to pull, I'll probably pull this steer tire loose or something. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? Figure out what the best way to do it. Exhaust is going to be in the way over here, but I need to be pulling that way. I hate torquing mains, I really do. I really hate torquing mains. But I'll figure it out. I might do these with the impact. They don't have to go near as tight as them down. Well, they go pretty tight. They go to 180 degrees, not. So I might do these with the impact, like the Cummins says, but sure would be a hell of a lot easier. Alright guys, thought I'd cover thrust bearing installation. Okay, so seems like every manufacturer has a little bit different way that they like to do things. Let's see if I can get my other drop light over here. This thing, the cord always getting pretty worn out. Maybe it just automatically quits charging, I don't know. find this here, maybe that'll put a little more light on it. But the standard, the regular bearing's the same part number. So you put your lower in there, roll it in. Okay, then you're gonna have your thrust bearings. Okay, so what they're gonna do here, you'll see a tapered edge. It's got a chamfer on it. That's gonna go towards the crankshaft, towards the journal, or towards the web. And the squared off side will be going towards here. And you can see, I'm trying to get as much light as I can on that, if I possibly can. You'll see where the little cutout here is, and it'll just sit in there like that. What I do on that to keep those from doing that to me is stick a little bit of assembly lube on there like that, and that'll make it stick. And you'll want to coat this side. Now this regular bearing on this, I don't coat both sides, just this thrust bearing, just to kind of get it tacky so it'll stay on there. Doesn't hurt anything. Alright, and this one will be exactly the opposite of what that one is. And I got the wrong bearing. Be this one. They are directional. Am I running out of this stuff or what? Okay. Yeah, just make sure that tapered edge is towards the crank webs, because your connecting rod journal, or you're not your connecting rod, but your main bearing journal and is going to be tapered. And that's going to the contour of that taper. Get them all slined up too, and okay. And then our upper shell, what we'll do is go ahead and make a bunch of trips on this one. I just don't want to lay them down. I guess I could take a clean rag, and I guess I'll do that. I'll get a clean rag and lay it on the floor. And then I'll get these set up to where they need to be. Oh no, I was wrong. These are not directional. I just had my head up my ass and wiped the goober snot on the, had it wrong way. Wrong way, Demi. So on these, I mean, these will just roll up in there. You can just put it on this, put it on the side that the crank web's going to be rubbing against. The other part's stationary. It ain't moving. Only reason I did it on these is to kind of just make it tacky where to stay on there. So let's get a clean rag and lay it on the floor, and then set those on the clean rag, and you know what I mean. Alright. We'll just lay everything on that clean rag. That's what we'll do. Okay. Get that cap. Oh, okay. That one's going in a little tighter. Well, if I push on it with a screwdriver, you notice that where it's got the gap right there where the tang is. That way it moves the screwdriver away from the journal, just to kind of be a little bit on the safe side and not scratch the crank. Okay, we'll roll these in. And these are the same way. They've got a cutout in the block on one side, and they go opposite of each other. I'm trying to find my cutout. So this one's got to go in like this. I'm going to move the crank a little bit here and try to get it slid over, make this one go in a little bit easier. Alright, let me get resituated. And alright, I need to get scoot it over against that one. Maybe that'll make life a little bit easier on me. That one's being really hard-headed and not wanting to... Oh, shit. Dumbass, you went the wrong way. Alright, there we got those in. Got our upper bearing shell in. Make sure that's facing front. Okay guys, so that's the thrust bearings. These all get torqued to 110 foot-pounds on an old block, and then if it's a new block, let's see, now on an old block torqued 110 foot-pounds and 180 degrees, and on a new block it's 300 foot-pounds and 180 degrees. So just thought I'd let you know about that.